Hey, y'all, each week on The Sam Sanders Show from KCRW, we ask big questions and share hot takes about the pop culture we love.
Now that we have YouTube, we don't need any more biopics. If they've been alive such that I can watch them on YouTube, I don't need it.
I don't think that music is getting worse. I think y'all just don't listen to artists who aren't in the mainstream.
Taylor Swift, retire. It's time to retire.
The Sam Sanders Show from KCRW, wherever you get your podcast, and on YouTube.
I'm still this optimistic, silly, adventurous person. I just have this deep abyss of despair that I have known, always there under the surface.
This is Life in 7 Songs from the San Francisco Standard. I'm Sophie Behrman. My guest this week is Amanda Knox. It is no exaggeration to say that Amanda has survived a living nightmare. In 2007, while studying abroad in Italy, 20-year-old Amanda was falsely accused and later convicted of the brutal murder of her roommate. After spending 4 years in prison, Amanda was acquitted and later exonerated of the crime. After her acquittal, Amanda returned home to Seattle to restart her life, now the face of one of the most notorious cases in recent history. Many people might have chosen to disappear into anonymity, but not Amanda. She's told her story through memoirs and documentaries, and now through a new Hulu miniseries, The Twisted Tale of Amanda Knox, which premieres tomorrow. Today, we're hearing a different side of Amanda's story, how music was both a lifeline pulling her through her darkest moments, and also a tether to the goofy, joyful person she was before her life was turned upside down. Amanda Knox, welcome to the show.
I'm so excited to be here.
You are executive producer on The Twisted Tale of Amanda Knox. After so many years of others setting the narrative, telling a story about you, how are you feeling?
Oh, man, very, very excited. It's a very, very good show. I'm really proud of it. It goes beyond just, the courtroom drama. It's a very personal story. And I'm so grateful to my partners because this experience could have been horrible, right? Like it could have been a nightmare. And instead, every single person that I've been working with, from the creator and showrunner KJ Steinberg to my fellow executive producer Monica Lewinsky, everyone understood what was important to me, which is not a story of a bad thing that happened to a girl one day. The frame of this story is I go back to Italy to confront my prosecutor. But it's not me being a helpless victim of circumstance. It is me making a choice. And that was something that was really important for me and Monica especially, is this idea that we're not defined by the traumas that happen to us. We're defined by what we do about them and how we succeed and fail at rebuilding our lives and reclaiming our narratives and redefining who we are on the world stage. You are not doomed to be limited to the worst experience of your life. That's the ultimate message of the show.
And I'm also curious, what is your relationship to Italy at this point? How do you think about it?
Yeah, that's a great question because I feel like I am very American Italian now because I grew up in a really big way in Italy. Yeah. And I feel like I'm a proper Italian in the sense that I can appreciate both the romanticism of Italy and also the dark underbelly of Italy, which is the bureaucracy and the misogyny. Like there's so much of Italy that is beautiful and there's so much of Italy that is less beautiful. And I know it all very intimately. So I feel like when you have a love-hate relationship with a country, that's when you know you're a native. And that's kind of how I feel. At this point in my life, I am very actively seeking out getting new good memories to counteract the bad ones that I've experienced.
You grew up in Seattle, the eldest of 4 kids. What kind of kid were you? How would you describe young Amanda?
I was a good kid. Like, I did well in school. I had friends. I took care of my younger siblings and my younger cousins. I'm not just the oldest of 4 girls. I am also the oldest of all of my cousins. So I was doing all of the babysitting, all of the dog care. I was very much a very family and friend-oriented person. I was on a soccer team. I was very athletic, and it was pretty easy. Like, I had a really easy childhood. I grew up in a divorced household, but like it never felt like it was an issue. Like, it was just like, oh, I just have 2 houses and I get to have 2 Christmases and 2 Thanksgivings. So like, it was kind of like I just have twice as much of the good stuff. And then, of course, I also was very outdoorsy. I was like drawing maps, fantasy maps, filling up a little backpack full of snacks to go hike in the forest that's near my house. Like, that's what I was doing.
You picked a song that's tied to your childhood. It's Hotel California, performed by the Gypsy Kings.
Yes.
Why'd you pick this song?
It felt like it was the perfect mashup of my parents, which is kind of how I experienced them, is like this mashup at this point, because my dad was all American. My mom was born in Germany and very European. My mom and my dad are huge Eagles fans. And then my stepdad comes along, and he's half Mexican, half Greek. He introduces me to a ton of heavy metal and also the Gypsy Kings. And the Gypsy Kings rendition of Hotel California is just like a perfect, upbeat, joyous mashup of genres and cultures. Just felt like the right way to express what my childhood was like. To this day, like, going to a Gypsy Kings concert was the pinnacle of concert experiences because of like the buoyancy of their music. I obviously couldn't speak Spanish before I went to Italy, but then I came home from Italy and suddenly I could understand all of the Spanish music. I was just like, wow, I leveled up in a way that I didn't even realize to appreciate more of my stepdad's music, especially.
And you went to the University of Washington. At that age, what did you dream of doing, like, as a career or something else with your life plans? Did you have a sense?
Yeah, I wanted to be a translator. I had this like deep interest in traveling and other cultures. I thought what an amazing thing it would be to be a bridge builder between 2 people who can't otherwise communicate. That was my vision, was being a translator.
Any life plans that you had were soon derailed in a very major way when you went to Italy. And what happened was incredibly tragic. Tell me about that.
So it had been 5 or 6 weeks since I had moved to Perugia, Italy to study abroad at the Università per Stranieri. And I was living in a house with 3 other young women. And one night, November 1st, I happened to be spending the night at my boyfriend's house. And during the night, there was a home invasion in my house. A man broke into our home, and only one of my roommates was actually there at the time. And this man raped and murdered her. And the next day, I was the first roommate to come home and discover the crime scene. I contacted the police. I contacted my other roommates. And again, I'm 20 years old. I've never had anything bad happen to me before. I'm basically just sort of running on autopilot, like just do what the adults tell me to do. So I spend the next several days in the police station, and I'm being questioned for hours and hours and hours. And
in Italian.
With no lawyer, and very often with no translator. And that culminates in an overnight interrogation where I am coerced into implicating myself and others in this crime. You know, I immediately recant as soon as they stop yelling at me and hitting me. But by then it was too late. I was sent off to prison, and I spent the next 4 years in prison before I was released and acquitted of the charges.
You shared a song that's connected to your first few months in prison. It's Dido's Thank You. So what's the story behind this song?
There were so many songs that had such a deep resonance for me, especially in this period of my life, because my life became so small. Like this huge case became very big, but I was just trapped in a jail cell. And for the first 8 months of my imprisonment, I was in isolation. Other prisoners would go out to the yard and, play cards or whatever. I was isolated. I was like in a separate space and not allowed to talk to anybody. And I was very, very lonely. And so what I did is I sang to myself. I've always loved to sing. And the rest of the prison sort of got to know me by my voice first, because I was singing all these songs. And it ended up resulting in people like hearing me sing the same songs over and over. And then they would be like, oh, the thank you one, like the thank you one. And so, quella con thank you, da 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 da, and they so I wasn't allowed to talk to them, but like the singing was almost like a loophole. And so the guards would let me sing to other people, even if I wasn't allowed to talk to them. And so the number one most requested song that I sang was Thank You by Dido.
I'm late for work again, and even if I'm there, they'll all reply that I might not last the day. And then you call me, and it's not so bad, it's not so bad. I want to thank you.
How much did music help you, especially in isolation?
I had so much time just to myself and to my own thoughts. And I was in sort of a state of shock and denial for a long time. And songs that were familiar to me felt like they were friends in the room with me. The lyrics helped me to process the feelings that I was feeling. So, even though Dido's like talking about having a bad day where her, little things are going wrong, that helped me because I was having a really fucking bad day. I was having one bad day after one bad day after one bad day, and I just needed to get through it. And ultimately, I knew that my family was out there fighting for me and caring about me and loving me, and I was so grateful to them.
You shared another song, Regina Spektor's Apres moi. How would you listen to this song? And I almost mean like literally, what was your access to music like in prison, I guess, as time passed? And then what about this song helped you?
So the prison I was in, you were allowed to have a Walkman CD player kind of thing, a disc player, and you could have like headphones like the ones that we're wearing. And we could have 3 CDs in our cell, like in our possession at a time. And this one was especially helpful after I was convicted, when I felt like the whole world didn't care who I was and what the truth was and was just trying to break me. And this was the kind of power ballad song that I would listen to sort of engage that part of myself that was like deeply hurt but still deeply strong.
Après moi le déluge, after me comes the flood. I must go on standing. You can't break that which isn't yours. I must go on standing. I'm not my own, it's not my choice.
One other note about this is, trigger warning, I had suicidal ideation right after I was convicted and I was sentenced to 26 years. And part of the thing that this song, like, you can't break that which isn't yours. It was me saying, like, fuck you, criminal justice system. Like, you can't break me. I don't belong to you. But also, I'm not my own. It's not my choice, was my reminding myself that I couldn't take my own life because my own life didn't even belong to me. It belonged to the people who loved me. And so this was a song that really helped me sort of work through those feelings of like anger and desperation when I was in a really dark place.
And at the same time, the media has created this narrative about you. I mean, I know that you were called everything from Foxy Knoxy to a she-devil. What was it like to see yourself painted in ways that felt, I imagine, completely foreign to who you knew yourself to be?
I mean, it was utterly surreal. One of the things that they called me in the courtroom was Luciferina, so female Lucifer. Looking back on it now, it's almost laughable how outrageous it is. Like, really? Really? But at the time, I felt like the person who was on trial was this idea of me that didn't exist. Like, they just made up a person who didn't exist, and that person happened to have my name and face, but had nothing to do with me, had nothing to do with anything I ever did. And I think the fact that so much of this case revolved around a story and a caricature instead of on facts and evidence made me feel trapped and helpless. And so again, like listening to Après moi le déluge, even after me comes the flood, there was like this sort of rebelliousness, like, you know what? This is not going to break me. And if I get out of here, you do not know what's going to hit you, kind of like vibes.
After the break, Amanda shares the music that helped her piece her life back together once she was free. Stay with us. Hey everyone, I want to recommend a podcast. Hard Knocks is a show about resilience, self-discovery, and finding meaning after chaos, hosted by Amanda Knox. Each week, Amanda sits down with fascinating guests, writers, thinkers, artists, to explore how we learn, grow, and rebuild ourselves after life knocks us down. Amanda brings humor, honesty, and hard-earned perspective to every conversation, drawing on her own experience of being wrongfully convicted and rebuilding her life. Amanda was a guest on Life in 7 Songs in one of our most moving episodes, opening up about how music became a lifeline during her years of wrongful imprisonment. On our show, she spoke candidly about turning pain into wisdom and also about how we're all so much more than our worst moments. If you liked that episode, you'll love her show, available wherever you listen to podcasts.
I'm Jesse Alejandro Cottrell.
And I'm Emily Dreyfus, and this is Pacific Standard Time.
We have stories from all over the state of California, all the big battles that are happening here.
Prop 50,
housing affordability,
tech,
and immigration.
And we're really excited to bring you the stories about how California is dealing with what it means to be alive in 2025.
Subscribe to Pacific Standard Time, a new weekly show from the San Francisco Standard.
We'll have new episodes every Wednesday starting November 19th, wherever you get your podcasts.
While in prison, you were appealing your conviction. What was your mindset about the future at that point? How were you sort of conceptualizing the future, having hope, getting released or not?
There was this big psychological shift for me from before the guilty verdict and after the guilty verdict, because everything leading up to the guilty verdict, I was living in a kind of limbo where I was like, I'm not living my life. I'm just living somebody else's life by mistake. And when all the adults in the room finally have to make a decision, they're going to give me my life back. And then, of course, that didn't happen. And suddenly I was faced with the reality that I couldn't count on the people that I thought I could count on, or the institutions that I thought I could count on, or even these grand ideals, truth, justice. And so I came into a kind of conflict with my mom where she kept resisting it, that resistance to accepting my life as it was, and I didn't. I started to accept that this was my life, and I should stop waiting to live my life and just live the life that I had. And I think it led to a maturity on my part, honestly. Like my friend, the priest in prison, said that I aged 40 years in 4 because of my ability to truly face the fact and accept that the life that I had was not the life that I deserved.
You shared a song connected to that priest, Maybe Not, by Cat Power.
Yes. The priest and I first connected again because he heard my voice before he ever really got to know me. He overheard me like everyone else singing. And we connected over music because I actually do not come from a religious background. So at first I was like, what do me and a priest have in common? Nothing. Well, it turned out we have so much in common, and it started with music. And so he invited me into his office to play guitar and to sing, and he invited me to sing and play guitar during Mass, and eventually he taught me how to play piano. And I practiced piano, but didn't have a piano in my cell. So what I had was a drawing of a piano. It was just like a paper slip. And I would practice. I would listen to a song on my headphones on my CD player. And then after he had taught me the chords, I would practice playing on this paper piano. And so this song is the first song that he taught me to play and was the song that I played for him the final day that I spent in prison.
We can all be free. Maybe not with words, maybe not with a look, but with your mind.
That song still gets me. Whew. I look back on that period of my life and I think about all of the mental gymnastics that I had to do to accept that horribly unfair circumstance. And I don't know what Cat Power was thinking about when she wrote that song, but talking about not being free in anywhere else but your mind was just like the perfect encapsulation of what I felt like, which was the only thing I had left was my mind, and I had to stay free in there or I would be crushed. And I sang that song while I was awaiting the verdict for my appeal trial, and the priest Don Saulo, he actually took a recording of me singing the song because he was sure that he was never going to hear my voice in prison again. He was sure I was going to be freed. And I didn't know. And I was like, maybe not. Maybe not. But no matter what, I'll still be free in my mind,
Wow. So you were freed from prison.
Hey, spoiler alert.
After 4 years. And you returned home to Washington in 2011. What was that like?
Well, after 4 years of being surrounded by concrete and spending 22 out of 24 hours a day locked in a single room that you can't get out of, I was really shocked to enter into a world that was so much bigger and brighter and louder and faster than what I had become used to. Stepping out of the airplane, I was just shocked with the smell of home, like the smell of rain and earth and pine trees. That is that Pacific Northwest smell that was so different than what I was used to in Italy. And I was really eager to go back to the life that I had before this horrible thing had happened to me. That's what I had fantasized about for so long. And it pretty quickly became apparent to me that that was not an option. I was being hunted down constantly by media. So I was just always under this very malicious spotlight. And so I was technically free, but I did not feel free. I felt very much trapped still within this narrative of being the girl accused of murder and being seen in the worst possible light. And on the one hand, it was incredible to be back with home and with my family. And at the same time, it was devastating to feel alienated from my own life. And I had to start from scratch in a big way.
Your next song is one that you turned to during this time. It's Hurt Feelings by Flight of the Conchords.
So yes. I didn't know Flight of the Conchords before prison. And this is like the most amazing way to be introduced to Flight of the Conchords. They were the one show that was not dubbed into Italian. You know, like The Simpsons were Italian. Like everybody was dubbed into Italian. But for some reason, Flight of the Conchords played late at night on MTV in Italy while I was in prison. And so I got my dose of silliness, you know, at like 11 p.m. at night, it like turning the volume really, really low so that, and had like putting my ear up to the speaker so that I could hear it and not wake up my cellmates. But I just like fell in love with their absurd, very silly and whimsical sense of humor, which really spoke to the inner whimsical, silly person that I am. And when I came across Hurt Feelings, it was almost like the Dido song, where it was like, we all have bad days, man. We all get hurt feelings. And I was just like, this is true to my heart. This is how I feel.
I make a meal for my friends, try to make it delicious, try to keep it nutritious, create wonderful dishes. Not one of them thinks about the way I feel.
Nobody compliments the meal.
I got hurt feelings. I got hurt feelings. I feel like a prize asshole.
Nobody even mentioned my casserole.
I got hurt feelings.
I got hurt feelings. He's got his hurt feelings. I have my hurt feelings. He has his hurt. We all have hurt feelings. Just made me laugh every fucking time.
And you went back to this song even after you got back to the States?
Oh, heck yeah. Well, I didn't even have a Flight of the Conchords CD in prison. I just like heard that song once. And then once I got home, then I picked up the CD and I was like, this is my go-to song for whenever I'm feeling like people are not being nice to me and are not like the haters are going to hate and I need a pick me up. It just pulls you right out. Because it's so silly.
It's so good. Your next song is Shake It Out by Florence and the Machine. What did this one do for you?
On the one hand, you know, I could always count on Flight of the Conchords to cheer me up. And this song, this was a pick me up. And it was a power ballad that was, you know, I'm a good person and I'm living my best life and I'm not going to let the haters dump all their crap on me. I'm going to shake it off. Even in prison, I would do this. I would dance in ways that was just like, I just need to get it off me. Just like I need to take a shower of all of this hatred that is just being like showered on me. I just need to like get it off of me.
It's always darkest before the dawn. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, oh, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, oh, and it's hard to dance with the devil on your back, so shake him out.
I mean, right? The devil being the Italian justice system at that point.
Right, because your legal battles were actually still going on even after you returned home. In 2013, Italy overturned your acquittal and ordered a retrial. You were convicted again before finally being exonerated definitively once and for all by Italy's Supreme Court in 2015.
So that moment was wild because I didn't know that a full exoneration was really, truly possible at that point. The best case scenario that I thought I was going to encounter was they were going to overturn my conviction and send it back for retrial. So I was like prepared for a years long, at the best case scenario, more years long legal battles. And in a moment, they just put it to a stop. They were just like, nope. No evidence, innocente per non aver commesso il fatto. She's innocent because she has factually not committed this crime. Over, done with, enough. And the relief and the joy, and it was like that first moment of realizing like, oh my God, I'm not just like living my life with an axe over my neck. I can actually look into the future and feel proactive about my life instead of reactive to this dark, ominous presence. So it was a big deal.
And just a few months after being exonerated, you met your future husband, Christopher.
Yes.
What was it like to fall in love, to open yourself up romantically to someone after all of this?
It's a great question because I felt like I was carrying a lot of baggage, and I felt like I probably couldn't have a partner in a normal relationship the way other people did because of all the baggage that I carried and because of the stigma. And I knew it was a lot. So I didn't begrudge anyone if they were overwhelmed by the idea of what it would mean to be my partner. And then I had this fabulous little meet cute with my now husband, but back then was just some dude who wrote a book that I reviewed for the local paper. And then I went to his book reading and I said hello and asked him for an interview for the paper. And that interview turned into watching Star Trek and drinking scotch and taking a nice moonlit walk around. And like, it's funny because like when we first met, I came away from that encounter being like, wow, weird. Like, I could totally love that guy. But I wasn't like, I am going to love that guy. I was like, in an alternate universe, I could totally love that guy. And here we are today.
Well, your last song is about where you're at today.
Yes.
It's Troubles Behind by Chris Ballou.
Yeah, he's a dear friend of ours. He also happens to be the singer and songwriter of the Presidents of the United States of America. And also he's Casper Baby Pants, who if you don't know, you're welcome, because Casper Baby Pants is the only kids' music that you can be capable of listening to and not want to like kill yourself. He's so much fun, and my daughter loves him, and my husband has the biggest bro crush on him. And this song was one that really resonated with me.
But the drum beat I made broke all but 9 of my toes. Have been stepped on and bruised. I just wanna cut loose and leave all my troubles behind.
I love that song because it's like the words say one thing, but the tempo says another. I would say that it's more melancholy than my life is, but like I think the thing that differentiates me from before this experience and me today is like I'm still this like upbeat, optimistic, silly, adventurous person. I just have this deep abyss of despair that I have known that doesn't just go away. It's just always there under the surface. And so I think this song really taps into that feeling of we move on, but we carry all of us and all we have been through with us as we move on.
Amanda, thank you so much for sharing your 7 songs. That was amazing.
Thank you so much. What a great concept for a show. I love it.
Life in 7 Songs is a production from the San Francisco Standard. If you want to hear from another guest who has overcome the odds and survived incarceration, check out our episode with Rasan New York Thomas. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and like the show. It makes a big difference for us. Our senior producer is Jasmine Morris. Our producers are Michelle Lands, who also mixes the show, and Tessa Kramer. Our theme music is by Kate Davis and Zubin Hensler. Clark Miller created our show art. Our music consultant is Sarah Tembekshian. Executive producers are Griffin Gaffney, John Steinberg, and me. As always, you can find this guest's full playlist at sf.news/Spotify. I am Sophie Behrman. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.